toxic femininity. I bet you didn't think I was about to say that. Boys, you asked for it. After all of the videos that I have done, reminding you quickly that this is a channel primarily directed at men, but we've done some videos. We've talked about toxic masculinity. We've talked about some unhealthy stuff that men do. And today I'm giving you what you have so frequently asked for in the comments, a video about women acting poorly. The other side of this toxic coin, toxic femininity. And the truth is, a lot of women engage in toxic femininity. I, myself, have engaged in this lifetime in plenty of toxic femininity, okay? And a lot of y'all, my dudes, are reinforcing this and accepting it as the norm. It's kind of funny how that works both ways. You may be thinking to yourself, Caitlin, you're a sex and relationship coach. This is a sex and relationship channel. What's the deal here? Why are we gonna talk about toxic femininity? What's that got to do with my intimacy? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because here's the thing. Authentic expression, meaning being who you actually are, and healthy communication, meaning saying what you meaning what you say, are central to healthy relationships, and those are central to great sex. If one or more people in your relationship is being toxic or being affected by toxic femininity, I'm here to tell you that is affecting your sex life, and in ways that you actually do not yet know and are gonna surprise the heck out of you, because hey, I'm a professional. I've been doing this for literally decades. And in researching this video, I was surprised to learn about how toxic femininity is affecting me, my relationship, the guys in my high performance male coaching membership, everybody. So understanding your role, knowing how to identify this, is going to help you have better relationships, better communication, better self-expression, and better sex. So listen up. I'm gonna be talking about what toxic femininity is, how to recognize it, and what you can do to counteract it. Because just like toxic masculinity and toxicity in general, we've got to get it out of our relationships. All right, first things first, what the heck is toxic femininity? Why have I never heard of it? If you've heard about the term toxic masculinity, toxic femininity is the feminine counterpart. So toxic masculinity is all the ways that men act when they are trying to fit the mold of what men should be instead of being who they actually are. So when they're being play, pretend, strong, stoic, aggressive, quick to anger, toxic masculinity. Toxic femininity is all the ways that women act to fit the mold of what women are supposed to do, say, and be inside of this patriarchal structure. That is soft, demure, caring for others, having that fake high-pitchy voice, like everything is fine. What do you mean? I don't have any feelings myself. I just take care of other people. Or playing into a ever-changing barrage of beauty standards, particularly the white, thin, capitalistic, patriarchal definition of beauty that I myself fall into. That's it. That's toxic femininity. Basically, toxic femininity is any behavior in women that bends to the will of the patriarchy instead of authentic expression. And listen, I know that this word patriarchy can be very triggering. If you will just hang out with me for a little bit, you can tell me how wrong I am in the comments, but let's actually have that discussion before you go there, okay? Hear me out. Toxic femininity is what leaves women feeling obligated to act in a certain way because of gendered expectations. Toxic masculinity is feeling like you have to act in a specific way, stuff down your tears, stuff down your feelings, don't communicate, punch that guy in the face even though you don't want to. It's the equivalent. But for women, it looks like acting like a sheep or a tiny little harmless lamb instead of just being true to ourselves. And that is what makes it toxic. Listen, folks, it is the 2020s. We are here for authentic self-expression. We are throwing away the gendered expectations of how we are supposed to behave, and we are going to behave how we feel inside, aligned with our moral and ethical code of values. That's what we're here for, folks. We are here to actually be ourselves in a way that is doing no harm to us and to others. And this shit, this toxic shit, this is deep. This is inside of our subconscious. It's like people say, oh, like Disney movies. It's not just Disney movies. It's literally how we were raised. It's the books that we read. It's the movies that we consume. as children, as today. It's the bullshit that's getting passed down from older generations that we're told that they just have to shut up and deal. And today, let's take a lesson from the younger generations who are like, actually, maybe I won't just shut up and deal. Maybe I won't just take shit from other people just because they tell me that I have to take it. And maybe that in itself is actually how we get ourselves out of the various messes that we find ourselves in. Let's get off the soapbox for a second. Let me just speak straight. I bet that you have done something that upholds the standards of toxic femininity this week, maybe even today, and that's okay, because I have too. It's hard to just pretend that we don't exist as part of this culture, that we weren't raised or indoctrinated or conditioned to act this way. But it's on us to notice and then retrain ourselves into new behaviors by becoming aware. So how do we do that? Well, let's talk about how to recognize toxic femininity and toxic behaviors of all kinds. Regardless of your gender, the very first step to combating this stuff is spotting it. And the truth is that it actually takes a lot of conscious effort to do that. It's way easier to just go through our daily lives and interactions without questioning them or giving them too much thought. And if you are a woman watching this, that means looking at your behaviors, your reactions, the words coming out of your mouth, and asking, am I acting, thinking, or saying this because it's how I genuinely feel? Or is there a part of me that's just afraid to act differently? If there's a part of me that's doing this because I think this is what I should be doing, that may be some toxic shit. So, for example, being agreeable for the sake of someone else's comfort, staying quiet because you don't want to stir the pot, acting submissive, or making certain decisions about your appearance that are rooted in shame and not genuine preference. Here's the thing, if you are a woman who's naturally quiet, that's okay. If you prefer to shave your underarms, which I do, and dress in a very feminine way, that's totally okay. I actually went through a period in time where I tried to let go of my underarm hair because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just shaving and waxing my underarms because it was what I was supposed to be doing as a woman. Now, it turns out that I am a human being who prefers not to have underarm hair, but I'm not forced to do it. I went through that time period to figure it out that was actually my authentic expression is a hairless underarm. I'm not being motivated by an external expectation, and I'm strong enough to show you my hairy pits. What if you're a man? Well, you've got work to do as well, because listen, dudes, you may definitely be supporting toxic femininity in women, and that essentially comes down to just reinforcing the way that women are supposed to act. Women are supposed to not talk back. Women are supposed to not tell it like it is. Women are supposed to be demure. Women are supposed to do the laundry, are supposed to do the cleaning. Women are supposed to put up with your shit. And you get angry when women don't do it. But I ask you to consider that by upholding all of those toxic standards of femininity, you're also holding on to and keeping women in the place of doing those behaviors that you really don't want. The toxic feminine stuff where you feel like you're being lied to, you feel like you're being manipulated, you feel like she's using her femininity against you. That's also toxic feminine behavior. So a lot of the work on you is just to ask questions of yourself. Am I expecting her to do this because she's a woman? Am I upset with her doing this because she's a woman? These kinds of questions will help you to get clear on, is this a gender thing, or is this just like you actually literally don't like when people talk up in meetings? You don't like when people confront you, whether they're male or female. And then that's for you to actually get to have some freedom around, and you get to process that. In short, gendered expectations affect both men and women equally, and breaking down toxicity in masculine or feminine behavior is a path for freedom for all of us. It means more authenticity, better communication, and more confidence in who we actually are. And in short, the simplest question you can ask yourself is, would I be upset if this person was a different gender? So you are talking to a man and he's like getting in your face and talking over you. Would you be upset if a woman was doing that? Yes? Okay, cool. Then it's not really a gendered thing, is it? It's just that you don't like people talking in your face. If a woman is telling you how she thinks you should do this project, maybe you have a female boss and she's like, I want you to do this and then this and then this, and you ask yourself, well, would I be upset if a guy was doing this? And you say, actually, no, I wouldn't be upset with a guy telling me that. Great. Now you know that this is actually a gendered expectation and that you actually want her to behave in a toxically feminine way, which is to be like passive and not assertive at all. A good example is guys who wonder why you're stuck in a dead bedroom or why you're single when you only want to date women that are like a perfect 10. The idea of a perfect 10 is kind of a toxically feminine issue, and women that are doing everything that they can to put their actual preferences, desires, and wants and needs aside in order to meet that standard of attractiveness are buying into some toxic feminine shit. All right, let's talk about how to combat it now that you've learned how to spot it. So, like I said, first step is to be aware. Second step is to actually take action, because it's not enough just to be aware if you really want to make an impact. If you are a man watching this, the best way to release all of us from toxic femininity is to make space for women to be anything that they want. Personally, professionally, sexually, you name it. Encouraging women to figure out and follow their hearts, their desires, whether that's in self-expression or in communication. Affirming that is how you can combat toxic femininity, and also letting us know when you see it in us too. Hey, are you just being quiet because you think that's what women are supposed to do? Hey, are you not initiating sex because you think that if you do as a woman, I'll think you're a whore? It also means spotting in your life when other people are putting women down or putting them in the toxic femininity box and calling them out on it. You know, if a guy says like, oh, she should take better care of herself if she wants any dick, like maybe say something along the lines of, what kind of behaviors in women are you supporting by saying that? And if you're a woman, well, remember to be kind to yourself and be gentle on yourself while you're figuring these things out. Encourage other women to express themselves freely. Try to untangle your identity from the toxic expectations that you are bombarded with on a daily basis. I know this sounds kind of intense and like a lot of work, and it is, but it's totally worthwhile when you experience freedom in your life. And that's what I'm here to give you, is freedom and power to be yourselves. And if you need some help with this, there's nothing wrong with that. Hiring a coach, hiring a professional, a therapist, even just finding a group of people that you can have open conversations with about releasing yourself from toxic gendered-based expectations, whether you are a man or a woman. Sometimes we have to do this. In fact, I'm gonna say that all the time, we have to do this together, and that is the only way for us to take our relationships truly to the next level. I'm Caitlin B. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you here next week.